In Pennsylvania, what is aggressive driving legally distinguished from road rage? Option A. Aggressive driving involves dangerous traffic behaviors that can be criminally charged. Road rage escalates to violent acts, assault, or using the vehicle as a weapon, which are felonies. Option B. They are the same offense. Both result in a reckless driving charge. Option C. Aggressive driving only applies to commercial vehicle operators. Option D. Road rage is a civil matter. Aggressive driving is always a minor infraction. The correct answer is A. Aggressive driving involves dangerous traffic behaviors that can be criminally charged. Road rage escalates to violent acts, assault, or using the vehicle as a weapon, which are felonies. In Pennsylvania, aggressive driving describes dangerous patterns, excessive tailgating, cutting off, frequent unsafe lane changes, that can be charged as reckless driving or careless driving depending on severity. Road rage elevates to violent criminal acts, threatening, assaulting, or using the vehicle as a weapon. Road rage can result in felony charges. Aggressive driving is typically a misdemeanor. In Pennsylvania, what is the speed limit in a posted school zone when the flashing beacon is active? Option A. 10 miles per hour. Option B. 15 miles per hour. Option C. 20 miles per hour. Option D. 25 miles per hour. The correct answer is B. 15 miles per hour. When a Pennsylvania school zone flashing beacon is active, drivers must reduce speed to 15 miles per hour. This applies during school arrival and dismissal times. Even when the beacon is not flashing, reduce speed if children are present near the road. Fines for speeding in active school zones are significantly higher than standard violations. In Pennsylvania, what does a crossbuck sign at a railroad crossing require of drivers? Option A. Stop completely regardless of conditions. Option B. Maintain speed but check both directions. Option C. Yield, slow down, look and listen in both directions, and cross only when certain no train is approaching. Option D. Stop only when a train is visible within 500 feet. The correct answer is C. Yield, slow down, look and listen in both directions, and cross only when certain no train is approaching. Pennsylvania's crossbuck sign, white X with railroad crossing, is a yield sign. Drivers must slow down, look and listen carefully in both directions, and proceed only when certain no train is approaching. If gates are lowered or warning lights are flashing, a full stop is required. The crossbuck alone requires yielding, not necessarily a complete stop. In Pennsylvania, what is pre-trip inspection, and when is it required? Option A. An annual emissions test required for all PA vehicles. Option B. A post-accident inspection ordered by PennDOT. Option C. A dealer inspection required before purchasing a used vehicle. Option D. A check of critical vehicle systems before operating. Mandatory for CDL drivers before each trip and recommended for all drivers. The correct answer is D. A check of critical vehicle systems before operating. Mandatory for CDL drivers before each trip and recommended for all drivers. A pre-trip inspection in Pennsylvania is a systematic check of brakes, tires, lights, mirrors, fluid levels, and safety equipment performed before driving. It is mandatory for CDL, commercial, drivers before every trip under federal regulations. For all PA drivers, checking key vehicle systems before driving is a fundamental safe driving habit that catches problems before they become emergencies. In Pennsylvania, what does aggravated unlicensed operation, AUO, mean? Option A. Driving with a suspended or revoked license, especially when the suspension was DUI-related or involves multiple prior suspensions, carrying enhanced criminal penalties. Option B. Operating a commercial vehicle without a CDL endorsement. Option C. Driving with an expired license for more than 6 months. Option D. Operating a vehicle while a learner's permit holder without a supervisor. The correct answer is A. Driving with a suspended or revoked license, especially when the suspension was DUI-related or involves multiple prior suspensions, carrying enhanced criminal penalties. Aggravated unlicensed operation in Pennsylvania refers to driving on a suspended or revoked license under aggravated circumstances, such as a DUI-related revocation, multiple prior suspensions, or suspended registration. Pennsylvania courts treat repeat unlicensed operations seriously. Penalties escalate with each prior offense and can include mandatory jail time. In Pennsylvania, what is the speed limit in a business or residential district when no sign is posted? Option A, 15 miles per hour. Option B, 25 miles per hour. Option C, 35 miles per hour. Option D, 55 miles per hour. The correct answer is B, 25 miles per hour. The default speed limit in a Pennsylvania business or residential district is 35 miles per hour unless a lower or higher limit is posted. This is higher than many other states' defaults. Municipal governments may post lower limits. Always obey posted signs. Many PA municipalities post 25 miles per hour in residential areas for pedestrian safety. In Pennsylvania, what does a no standing sign mean? Option A, parking is prohibited but brief passenger stops are allowed with driver present. Option B, no pedestrians may stand in the designated area. Option C, you may not stop for any purpose, not even briefly for passengers, except as required by traffic conditions or a signal. Option D, commercial vehicles are prohibited, passenger cars may stop briefly. The correct answer is C, you may not stop for any purpose, not even briefly for passengers, except as required by traffic conditions or a signal. A no standing sign in Pennsylvania prohibits stopping for any purpose, including picking up or dropping off passengers, except when required by traffic or a traffic control device. It is more restrictive than no parking, which allows brief passenger stops, and slightly less restrictive than no stopping, which prohibits any pause whatsoever. In Pennsylvania, what is the dilemma zone at a traffic light? Option A, the crosswalk area where pedestrians and vehicles share space at a signal. Option B, a lane where two streams of traffic merge simultaneously. Option C, the area between two closely spaced intersections on a highway. Option D, the point at which a driver is too close to stop safely before a yellow light but hasn't yet entered the intersection, creating a difficult decision. The correct answer is D, the point at which a driver is too close to stop safely before a yellow light but hasn't yet entered the intersection, creating a difficult decision. The dilemma zone in Pennsylvania is the area just before an intersection where a driver has passed the safe stopping point when the light turns yellow, but has not yet entered. PennDOT advises deciding early, when the light turns yellow far ahead, begin braking. When very close, it may be safer to proceed carefully than to stop suddenly and risk a rear-end crash. In Pennsylvania, what does standard of care mean in traffic law? Option A, the level of caution a reasonable, prudent driver would exercise under the same road, weather, and traffic conditions. Option B, the maximum legal speed under ideal conditions. Option C, the minimum insurance coverage required by state law. Option D, a formal PennDOT rating applied after crash investigations. The correct answer is A, the level of caution a reasonable, prudent driver would exercise under the same road, weather, and traffic conditions. Standard of care in Pennsylvania traffic law refers to the conduct expected of a reasonable, prudent driver in the same situation. Falling below the standard, speeding in rain, failing to signal, or not yielding properly, can establish negligence in civil cases and may support criminal traffic charges. It is the benchmark against which a driver's behavior is measured in court. In Pennsylvania, what is inattentive driving, and how is it penalized? Option A, a specific criminal offense carrying mandatory jail time. Option B, operating a vehicle while distracted in a way that could endanger others, classified as careless driving, a summary offense with fines and points. Option C, a traffic infraction only issued after a crash occurs. Option D, only applicable to commercial vehicle drivers. The correct answer is B, operating a vehicle while distracted in a way that could endanger others, classified as careless driving, a summary offense with fines and points. Inattentive driving in Pennsylvania, such as texting, eating, adjusting the radio, or excessive passenger interaction, falls under the careless driving statute, 75 pascals. C. Section 3714. It is a summary offense carrying a fine and 3 points on the driving record. If it causes injury or death, charges can escalate to reckless driving or homicide by vehicle. In Pennsylvania, at what point total does PennDOT issue a warning letter requiring a special exam? Option A, 3 points. Option B, 4 points. Option C, 6 points. Option D, 11 points. The correct answer is C. 6 points. When a Pennsylvania driver accumulates 6 or more points for the first time, PennDOT sends a warning letter and requires the driver to pass a special point examination. Passing reduces the point total by 2. Failing adds 2 more points. At 11 points, the license is suspended. The point exam must be passed before driving can continue if the 11-point threshold is reached. In Pennsylvania, what is the basic speed law and when does it apply? Option A. It sets an absolute maximum speed that can never be exceeded under any circumstances. Option B. It applies only to commercial vehicles on limited access highways. Option C. It only applies on unpaved or rural roads. Option D. It requires driving at a speed that is reasonable and prudent for conditions. A driver can be cited even below the posted limit if speed is unsafe for weather or road conditions. The correct answer is D. It requires driving at a speed that is reasonable and prudent for conditions. A driver can be cited even below the posted limit if speed is unsafe for weather or road conditions. Pennsylvania's basic speed law requires all drivers to travel at a speed that is reasonable and prudent for current conditions, including road surface, weather, visibility, and traffic. A driver traveling below the posted limit can still be cited if their speed is unsafe for conditions such as heavy rain, fog, or construction. The posted limit assumes ideal conditions. In Pennsylvania, what is the minimum distance you must park from a fire hydrant? Option A. 15 feet. Option B. 10 feet. Option C. 5 feet. Option D. 25 feet. The correct answer is A. 15 feet. Pennsylvania law requires parking at least 15 feet from a fire hydrant. Parking closer obstructs firefighter access and is a citable parking violation. This rule applies whether or not curb markings are present near the hydrant. Emergency access to hydrants must be maintained at all times. In Pennsylvania, what is the correct action when approaching a yield sign at a highway on-ramp? Option A. Stop completely and wait for a large gap before merging. Option B. Adjust speed to find a safe gap in highway traffic and merge smoothly. Stop only if no gap is available. Highway traffic does not yield to you. Option C. Maintain speed and force a gap. Highway drivers must yield to merging vehicles. Option D. Use the shoulder to accelerate if no gap exists in the travel lanes. The correct answer is B. Adjust speed to find a safe gap in highway traffic and merge smoothly. Stop only if no gap is available. Highway traffic does not yield to you. At a yield sign on a Pennsylvania highway on-ramp, your responsibility is to match highway speed and find a safe gap before merging. Highway traffic does not yield to you. Stop only as a last resort when no safe gap exists. Merging at highway speed reduces conflict. Never stop on the ramp unless absolutely necessary, as stopped vehicles on ramps cause serious crashes. In Pennsylvania, what does a no stopping sign mean? Option A. Parking is prohibited but stopping to load passengers is allowed. Option B. No vehicles may enter this area under any circumstances. Option C. You may not stop for any reason, including traffic conditions, unless directed by an officer or traffic control device. Option D. Only commercial vehicles are prohibited from stopping. The correct answer is C. You may not stop for any reason, including traffic conditions, unless directed by an officer or traffic control device. A no stopping sign in Pennsylvania is the most restrictive type of parking control. You may not stop your vehicle for any reason, not even briefly for passengers, unless required by traffic, a signal, or a law enforcement officer. It is more restrictive than no standing and no parking signs. In Pennsylvania, what is the consequence of a first conviction for leaving the scene of a crash causing property damage only? Option A. Civil infraction with a fine only. Option B. Automatic felony charge. Option C. Third-degree misdemeanor. Option D. Summary offense, fine, license suspension, and points. The correct answer is D. Summary offense, fine, license suspension, and points. Leaving the scene of a crash involving only property damage in Pennsylvania is a summary offense carrying a fine, for points, and a potential 6-month license suspension. If the crash involves bodily injury, it becomes a misdemeanor. If the crash involves death or serious bodily injury and the driver knew or should have known, it becomes a felony with mandatory imprisonment. In Pennsylvania, what is the minimum age to drive a school bus? Option A, 21 years old. Option B, 18 years old. Option C, 25 years old. Option D, no minimum age, only a CDL with endorsements is required. The correct answer is A, 21 years old. Pennsylvania requires school bus drivers to be at least 18 years old. They must also hold a valid Class B CDL with passenger, P, and school bus, S, endorsements, pass a background check and physical examination, and complete required training. Many school districts set their own higher age minimums of 21 or 25. In Pennsylvania, what does a divided highway begin sign indicate? Option A, lanes are merging, prepare to move right. Option B, the road ahead separates into two one-way roadways, keep to the right of the median that is beginning. Option C, a toll plaza with divided lanes is approaching. Option D, the speed limit is increasing on the divided section ahead. The correct answer is B. The road ahead separates into two one-way roadways, keep to the right of the median that is beginning. A divided highway begins sign in Pennsylvania warns that the road ahead splits into two one-way roadways separated by a median. Keep to the right of the physical divider. Drivers who fail to recognize this transition and remain in what becomes the opposing traffic lane risk a head-on collision, one of the most dangerous crash types. In Pennsylvania, what is the turnout rule for slow-moving vehicles on rural roads? Option A, slow vehicles must stop at every intersection to allow following traffic to pass. Option B, slow vehicles must maintain a minimum speed of 30 miles per hour or pull over. Option C, when 5 or more vehicles are backed up behind a slow-moving vehicle on a two-lane road, the slow vehicle must use available turnouts to let them pass. Option D, there is no turnout rule in Pennsylvania. Drivers must wait for a passing zone. The correct answer is C. When 5 or more vehicles are backed up behind a slow-moving vehicle on a two-lane road, the slow vehicle must use available turnouts to let them pass. Pennsylvania law requires slow-moving vehicles, when 5 or more vehicles have accumulated behind them on a two-lane road, to use available turnouts or pull-off areas to allow traffic to pass. This reduces the dangerous passing attempts that occur when impatient drivers try to pass on roads with limited sight distance. Farm equipment operators must also comply. In Pennsylvania, what does negative visibility mean in driving? Option A, driving at night without proper headlight alignment. Option B, a condition caused by sun glare reducing mirror effectiveness. Option C, having improperly adjusted mirrors that create blind spots. Option D, a condition where visibility is less than stopping distance. The driver cannot see far enough ahead to stop safely before reaching a hazard. The correct answer is D. A condition where visibility is less than stopping distance. The driver cannot see far enough ahead to stop safely before reaching a hazard. Negative visibility in Pennsylvania occurs when you cannot see far enough ahead to stop before reaching a potential obstacle. This is common in dense fog, heavy snow, rain, or blinding sun glare. Pennsylvania's DMV handbook instructs drivers to reduce speed to match their stopping distance to their visible range, or pull over completely when visibility becomes dangerously low. In Pennsylvania, what is the correct procedure for parallel parking? Option A, pull alongside the vehicle ahead of the space, reverse at an angle into the space, straighten and finish parallel and within 12 inches of the curb. Option B, approach the space head-on and pull straight in from the traffic lane. Option C, back straight into the space from a perpendicular position alongside the curb. Option D, enter the space front first by turning sharply at the rear bumper of the front vehicle. The correct answer is A. Pull alongside the vehicle ahead of the space, reverse at an angle into the space, straighten and finish parallel and within 12 inches of the curb. To parallel park in Pennsylvania, position your car parallel to and about 2 feet from the vehicle in front of the space. Signal, begin reversing at a 45-degree angle toward the curb until your front bumper clears the rear of the front vehicle, then straighten and reverse until parallel. Adjust to be within 12 inches of the curb. This is a required road test skill. In Pennsylvania, what is the point of impact in an accident reconstruction? Option A, the location where emergency responders first arrived at the scene. Option B, The exact location on the roadway where two vehicles or a vehicle and object first made contact. Option C. The center of the intersection where the collision occurred. Option D. The point where a driver's braking marks begin on the pavement. The correct answer is B. The exact location on the roadway where two vehicles or a vehicle and object first made contact. The point of impact, POI, in a Pennsylvania crash investigation is the precise location where vehicles, or a vehicle and a fixed object, first made contact. Investigators determine the POI from physical evidence: tire marks, debris fields, paint transfer, and vehicle damage. The POI anchors the entire reconstruction and helps establish what each driver did before impact. In Pennsylvania, what is highway hypnosis and how should it be prevented? Option A. A visual distortion that makes highway curves appear straighter than they are. Option B. An optical illusion caused by driving toward a rising or setting sun. Option C. A drowsy, trance-like state caused by monotonous highway driving, prevented by taking breaks, staying engaged, and stopping to rest when drowsy. Option D. A state of confusion caused by driving in unfamiliar areas. The correct answer is C. A drowsy, trance-like state caused by monotonous highway driving, prevented by taking breaks, staying engaged, and stopping to rest when drowsy. Highway hypnosis in Pennsylvania is a drowsy, semi-conscious state induced by the repetitive monotony of long-distance highway driving. The driver may continue operating the vehicle, but with greatly reduced awareness and reaction time. Prevention. Take a 15-minute break every 2 hours, keep the cabin cool, stay hydrated, and if truly drowsy, exit and sleep, even briefly. Never fight it on the road. In Pennsylvania, what is target fixation in driving? Option A. Using GPS as your primary navigational tool while driving. Option B. The habit of tracking the vehicle ahead's brake lights as your primary hazard warning. Option C. Checking your mirrors every 5 to 8 seconds to maintain awareness. Option D. The dangerous tendency to steer toward whatever you are focused on. Drivers hit hazards they are trying to avoid by looking at them instead of away. The correct answer is D. The dangerous tendency to steer toward whatever you are focused on. Drivers hit hazards they are trying to avoid by looking at them instead of away. Target fixation in Pennsylvania driving occurs when a driver stares intensely at a hazard, a pothole, guardrail, or pedestrian, and unconsciously steers toward it. PA's DMV handbook teaches drivers to look where they want to go, not where they fear going. This phenomenon is especially dangerous for motorcyclists and during emergency evasive maneuvers. In Pennsylvania, what is the minimum distance you must park from a stop sign? Option A. 30 feet. Option B. 20 feet. Option C. 15 feet. Option D. 50 feet. The correct answer is A. 30 feet. Pennsylvania prohibits parking within 30 feet of a stop sign. This clearance ensures approaching drivers have an unobstructed view of the sign and enough distance to see it and stop. Parking too close to a stop sign is a citable parking violation and creates a genuine safety hazard by reducing sign visibility. In Pennsylvania, what does gap acceptance mean when merging onto a highway? Option A. The legal minimum distance required before changing lanes on a highway. Option B. A driver's judgment of whether a space in traffic is large enough to merge safely without forcing other drivers to brake. Option C. The minimum speed required to safely join highway traffic. Option D. The distance maintained between your vehicle and the vehicle ahead after merging. The correct answer is B. A driver's judgment of whether a space in traffic is large enough to merge safely without forcing other drivers to brake. Gap acceptance on a Pennsylvania highway on-ramp means evaluating whether the space between vehicles in the through lane is large enough to merge without causing other drivers to brake or swerve. An acceptable gap must allow you to accelerate to traffic speed and establish your position safely. Misjudging gaps is a leading cause of merge-related crashes. In Pennsylvania, what is braking fade, and how is it prevented on long downgrades? Option A. Normal brake pad wear, prevented by regular brake inspections. Option B. The time lag between pressing the brake pedal and the vehicle decelerating. Option C. A reduction in braking effectiveness caused by overheated brakes, prevented by downshifting before descending grades and applying brakes intermittently rather than continuously. Option D. The difference in braking distance on wet versus dry roads. The correct answer is C. A reduction in braking effectiveness caused by overheated brakes, prevented by downshifting before descending grades and applying brakes intermittently rather than continuously. Brake fade in Pennsylvania occurs when brakes overheat from prolonged continuous use, most common on long, steep downgrades. As brake temperatures rise, friction decreases and pedal pressure must increase for the same stopping effect. Prevention. Select a lower gear before the descent to use engine braking, and apply the brakes in short intervals rather than holding continuous pressure. In Pennsylvania, what is the minimum fine for a first offense handheld device, texting/calling, violation while driving? Option A, $50. Option B, $200. Option C, $150. Option D, $100. The correct answer is D, $100. Pennsylvania prohibits texting while driving for all drivers and prohibits all cell phone use for drivers with learner's permits and junior licenses. The fine for a first offense texting violation is $50. For junior and learner permit holders, any handheld use carries a $50 fine. These fines are separate from any surcharges PennDOT may assess. Adult handheld calling laws vary by municipality. In Pennsylvania, what does traction control do, and when should it be turned off? Option A. It prevents wheel spin by reducing engine power or braking individual wheels. Should be turned off when stuck in deep snow or mud, where wheel spin helps brake free. Option B. It improves steering response on dry roads. Should always remain on. Option C. It locks all four wheels simultaneously for maximum stopping force on ice. Option D. It automatically engages four-wheel drive on slippery surfaces. The correct answer is A. It prevents wheel spin by reducing engine power or braking individual wheels. Should be turned off when stuck in deep snow or mud, where wheel spin helps brake free. Traction control in Pennsylvania automatically detects wheel spin during acceleration and reduces engine power or applies individual brakes to restore grip. It is helpful in most slippery conditions. However, when a vehicle is stuck in deep snow or mud, traction control cuts power before the wheel can spin enough to brake free. Temporarily disabling it allows the necessary wheel spin to escape. In Pennsylvania, what is the critical speed on a curve and why does it matter? Option A. The posted advisory speed on the curve warning sign, a regulatory limit. Option B. The maximum speed at which a vehicle can negotiate a specific curve without skidding or rolling over, determined by radius, banking, and surface friction. Option C. The minimum speed required to maintain lane position through the curve. Option D. The speed at which ABS activates when braking in a curve. The correct answer is B. The maximum speed at which a vehicle can negotiate a specific curve without skidding or rolling over, determined by radius, banking, and surface friction. Critical speed is the maximum speed at which a vehicle can safely navigate a specific curve based on its radius, superelevation, banking, and road surface friction. Exceeding critical speed causes the vehicle to slide outward and potentially leave the road. Advisory speed signs below curve warnings indicate a safe speed well below critical speed. Exceeding them significantly increases crash risk. In Pennsylvania, what does the color orange on a road sign typically mean? Option A. Regulatory information that must be obeyed. Option B. Motorist services including gas, food, and lodging. Option C. Construction, maintenance, or utility work zone. Temporary conditions that may include reduced speed limits with doubled fines. Option D. Recreational areas and state parks. The correct answer is C. Construction, maintenance, or utility work zone. Temporary conditions that may include reduced speed limits with doubled fines. Orange road signs in Pennsylvania mark construction, maintenance, and utility work zones. They communicate temporary conditions, reduced speed limits, lane closures, detours, and flagging instructions. Fines for moving violations in active work zones are doubled. Pennsylvania strictly enforces work zone laws, especially near the many highway construction projects on I-76, I-78, and I-80. In Pennsylvania, what is careless driving as opposed to reckless driving? Option A. Careless driving is more serious and always a felony. Reckless driving is minor. Option B. Careless driving only applies to drivers under 18. Option C. Both charges carry the same penalty and point assessment in Pennsylvania. Option D. Careless driving is operating without due care in a manner that could endanger others. No criminal intent required. Reckless driving requires willful or wanton disregard for safety and is a more serious criminal charge. The correct answer is D. Careless driving is operating without due care in a manner that could endanger others. No criminal intent required. Reckless driving requires willful or wanton disregard for safety and is a more serious criminal charge. Pennsylvania careless driving, 75 pascals. C. Section 3714 means operating without due care or circumspection. Negligent behavior that could endanger people or property. No intent is required. Reckless driving, 75 pascals. C. Section 3736 requires willful or wanton disregard for safety, a higher bar and more serious charge. Careless driving adds 3 points. Reckless adds 6. In Pennsylvania, what is intersection sight distance, and why is it important? Option A. The distance a driver must be able to see in each direction at an intersection to safely cross or turn, based on the speed of approaching traffic. Option B. The legal stopping distance required from an intersection. Option C. The minimum gap required between vehicles at a four-way stop. Option D. The distance at which you must begin signaling before an intersection. The correct answer is A. The distance a driver must be able to see in each direction at an intersection to safely cross or turn, based on the speed of approaching traffic. Intersection sight distance in Pennsylvania is how far a driver must see in each approach direction to safely enter, cross, or turn at an intersection, based on the speed of cross traffic. Pennsylvania requires intersections to be free of obstructions, overgrown vegetation, parked vehicles, or structures that would reduce sight distance below safe levels. Inadequate sight distance is a leading intersection crash factor. In Pennsylvania, what does a winding road sign indicate? Option A. A single sharp curve ahead, slow to advisory speed. Option B. A series of alternating curves ahead, reduce speed before the section begins and maintain it through all curves. Option C. A section of road with frequent lane changes required. Option D. A road that narrows significantly at multiple points ahead. The correct answer is B. A series of alternating curves ahead, reduce speed before the section begins and maintain it through all curves. A winding road sign in Pennsylvania, yellow diamond with an S-curve arrow, warns of a series of curves, not just one. Reduce speed before entering the winding section, stay fully within your lane, and avoid passing throughout. These sections require smooth, controlled steering. The advisory speed, if posted, represents the recommended safe speed through the entire sequence. In Pennsylvania, what is the law regarding open containers of alcohol in a vehicle? Option A. Only the driver is prohibited from having an open container. Option B. Open containers are permitted for passengers in the rear seats only. Option C. No person, driver, or passenger may possess an open alcoholic beverage container in the passenger area of a vehicle on a public highway. Option D. Open containers are only prohibited when the vehicle is in motion. The correct answer is C. No person, driver, or passenger may possess an open alcoholic beverage container in the passenger area of a vehicle on a public highway. Pennsylvania's open container law, 75 pascals. C. Section 3809 prohibits any person in a vehicle on a public highway from consuming alcohol or possessing an open container of alcohol in the passenger area. This applies to both the driver and all passengers. Exceptions exist for passengers in taxis, limousines, and motorhomes. Violations are summary offenses. In Pennsylvania, what is the minimum vision requirement for an unrestricted driver license? Option A. 20/20 in at least one eye without correction. Option B. 20/50 in both eyes combined. Option C. 20 out of 100 is acceptable with strong prescription lenses. Option D. 20/40ths in the better eye with or without correction. Peripheral vision of at least 120 degrees is also required. The correct answer is D. 20/40ths in the better eye with or without correction. Peripheral vision of at least 120 degrees is also required. Pennsylvania requires a minimum visual acuity of 20/40ths in the better eye, with or without corrective lenses, and a minimum horizontal visual field of 120 degrees for an unrestricted Class C license. If lenses are required to meet the standard, a corrective lens restriction is placed on the license. Drivers with vision below these levels may qualify for restricted licenses under special conditions. In Pennsylvania, what is the point of no return at an intersection? Option A. The point at which a driver approaching a yellow light is too close to stop safely, making it safer to proceed than to brake suddenly. Option B. The center of the intersection from which a driver cannot legally turn back. Option C. The distance from which a driver must begin signaling for a turn. Option D. The point at which a driver cannot change lanes before the intersection. The correct answer is A. The point at which a driver approaching a yellow light is too close to stop safely, making it safer to proceed than to brake suddenly. The point of no return in Pennsylvania is where a driver approaching a yellow light has passed the last safe stopping point. Braking hard at this point would risk a rear-end collision or loss of control. When you have passed this point, proceeding through the intersection before the light turns red is the safer choice. The decision must be made quickly and early. In Pennsylvania, what is the danger zone around a school bus? Option A. 200 feet directly in front and behind the bus. Option B. The area within 30 feet in front of the bus, 10 feet on each side, and directly behind, where children are most at risk from vehicles and where the driver's visibility is most limited. Option C. The full block around a stopped school bus. Option D. Only the area behind the bus. Children always approach from the rear. The correct answer is B. The area within 30 feet in front of the bus, 10 feet on each side, and directly behind, where children are most at risk from vehicles and where the driver's visibility is most limited. The school bus danger zone in Pennsylvania is the area within 30 feet in front and 10 feet on each side, where the driver's mirror coverage is most limited. Children must walk to a point where they can see the driver's face, make eye contact, and wait for the driver's signal before crossing. Never walk behind a bus where the driver cannot see you. In Pennsylvania, what is the correct action when you see a pedestrian with a white cane or guide dog at a crosswalk? Option A. Slow to 5 miles per hour and pass behind them carefully. Option B. Proceed if the pedestrian has not yet stepped off the curb. Option C. Yield completely and remain stopped until the pedestrian has fully crossed. Honking is prohibited. Option D. Sound your horn to alert the pedestrian of your presence, then proceed. The correct answer is C. Yield completely and remain stopped until the pedestrian has fully crossed. Honking is prohibited. Pennsylvania law requires all drivers to stop completely and yield to visually impaired pedestrians using a white cane or guide dog at any crosswalk or intersection. You must remain stopped until the pedestrian has fully cleared the roadway. Honking at a visually impaired pedestrian is prohibited. It can startle and disorient them. Violations carry enhanced fines. In Pennsylvania, what is the consequence of driving with a BAC at the highest BAC DUI tier 0? 16% or higher? Option A. Same as the high BAC tier, enhanced fines only. Option B. Third-degree felony charge from the first offense. Option C. Automatic permanent license revocation. Option D. First offense. 72-hour mandatory imprisonment, fine of $1,000 to $5,000, 12-month license suspension, and ignition interlock requirement upon reinstatement. The correct answer is D. First offense. 72-hour mandatory imprisonment, fine of $1,000 to $5,000, 12-month license suspension, and ignition interlock requirement upon reinstatement. Pennsylvania's highest BAC DUI tier 0. 16% plus carries the harshest first offense penalties. Mandatory minimum 72 hours imprisonment, fines of $1,000 to $5,000, 12-month license suspension, and ignition interlock required upon reinstatement. A second offense at this tier results in 90 days mandatory imprisonment and a 3-year suspension. These penalties distinguish PA's highest BAC tier from most states. In Pennsylvania, what is the state Route 22 certificate and when is it required? Option A. A certificate filed by your insurance company confirming minimum coverage, required after DUI, driving uninsured, or certain license suspensions, typically for 3 years. Option B. An annual vehicle safety inspection certificate. Option C. A form required only for commercial vehicle operators. Option D. A document confirming completion of a defensive driving course. The correct answer is A. A certificate filed by your insurance company confirming minimum coverage, required after DUI, driving uninsured, or certain license suspensions, typically for 3 years. And State Route 22 is a certificate of financial responsibility, filed by your insurer with PennDOT confirming you carry the required minimum insurance. Required after DUI convictions, driving without insurance, or certain license suspensions. If the insurance lapses, the insurer notifies PennDOT and the license may be resuspended. The State Route 22 requirement typically lasts 3 years. In Pennsylvania, what is the correct response when driving on black ice? Option A. Brake hard immediately and pull toward the shoulder. Option B. Remove foot from the accelerator gradually, avoid sudden steering or braking, let the vehicle slow naturally, and steer gently to safety. Option C. Accelerate briefly to power through the ice patch. Option D. Shift into neutral immediately and apply the parking brake gently. The correct answer is B. Remove foot from the accelerator gradually, avoid sudden steering or braking, let the vehicle slow naturally, and steer gently to safety. Black ice in Pennsylvania is nearly invisible and extremely slippery. If you encounter it, ease off the gas gradually, avoid any sudden braking or steering inputs, and let the vehicle slow naturally. Keep the steering wheel straight or make only tiny corrections. Once past the ice, gently apply the brakes to reduce speed further. Bridges, overpasses, and shaded areas freeze first. In Pennsylvania, what is driving to endanger, and how does it differ from reckless driving? Option A. They are identical charges in Pennsylvania law. Option B. Driving to endanger is a civil infraction. Reckless driving is criminal. Option C. Driving to endanger is the same as reckless driving in PA. Both describe willful or wanton disregard for safety. The terms are used interchangeably in the statute. Option D. Driving to endanger only applies on limited access highways. The correct answer is C. Driving to endanger is the same as reckless driving in PA. Both describe willful or wanton disregard for safety. The terms are used interchangeably in the statute. In Pennsylvania, reckless driving, 75 pascals. C. Section 3736, and driving to endanger describe the same offense, willful or wanton disregard for the safety of persons or property. The terms are used interchangeably in both the statute and courts. It is a summary offense adding 6 points, with potential upgrade to misdemeanor or felony if injury or death results. In Pennsylvania, what is the correct action when your vehicle stalls on a limited access highway? Option A. Stay in the lane and turn on hazard lights until help arrives. Option B. Turn on hazard lights and wait in the driver's seat for assistance. Option C. Immediately push the vehicle off the road regardless of direction. Option D. Coast to the right shoulder, turn on hazard lights, exit the vehicle safely, move away from traffic, and call for help. Never stand behind or in front of a vehicle on the shoulder. The correct answer is D. Coast to the right shoulder, turn on hazard lights, exit the vehicle safely, move away from traffic, and call for help. Never stand behind or in front of a vehicle on the shoulder. If your vehicle stalls on a Pennsylvania limited access highway, coast to the right shoulder as far as possible. Turn on hazard lights immediately. Exit the vehicle safely from the right, passenger, side if possible. Move well away from traffic, ideally behind a guardrail, and call for help. Never stand behind your vehicle or in any lane. Secondary crashes involving stopped vehicles are a major PA highway hazard. In Pennsylvania, what is lane splitting, and is it legal? Option A. Lane splitting, riding a motorcycle between lanes of slow or stopped traffic, is illegal in Pennsylvania. Motorcycles must occupy a full lane. Option B. Lane splitting is legal for motorcycles on highways under 30 miles per hour. Option C. Lane splitting is legal only for electric motorcycles. Option D. Lane splitting is permitted only in heavy traffic above 45 miles per hour. The correct answer is A. Lane splitting, riding a motorcycle between lanes of slow or stopped traffic, is illegal in Pennsylvania. Motorcycles must occupy a full lane. Lane splitting, riding a motorcycle between lanes of slow or stopped traffic, is illegal in Pennsylvania. PA law requires motorcycles to operate within a single lane and prohibits riding between lanes or rows of vehicles. Pennsylvania is among the majority of states that ban this practice. California remains the only state with explicit lane splitting permission. In Pennsylvania, what must you do if you are involved in a crash that results in injury or death? Option A. Drive to the nearest police station and report the crash within 1 hour. Option B. Stop immediately, provide reasonable aid, exchange information with all parties, and report to law enforcement. Do not leave until released. Option C. Stop, take photographs, and exchange insurance information. Leaving is permitted if no one needs medical assistance. Option D. Stop only if you believe you were at fault. The correct answer is B. Stop immediately, provide reasonable aid, exchange information with all parties, and report to law enforcement. Do not leave until released. Pennsylvania law, 75 pascals. C. Section 3742 requires any driver involved in a crash causing injury or death to stop immediately, render reasonable aid to injured persons, provide identifying information to all parties, and cooperate with law enforcement. Leaving the scene of an injury crash is a felony. The driver must remain until law enforcement releases them from the scene. In Pennsylvania, what is the minimum age to drive a motorcycle? Option A. 14 years old with a Class M permit. Option B. 18 years old. No permit is available before 18. Option C. 16 years old. The minimum age to apply for a motorcycle learner's permit. Option D. 15 years old with parental consent. The correct answer is C. 16 years old. The minimum age to apply for a motorcycle learner's permit. Pennsylvania allows applicants as young as 16 to apply for a motorcycle learner's permit, Class M permit. Permit holders must be supervised and may not carry passengers. After holding the permit for 6 months and passing the motorcycle skills test, a full Class M license is issued. Motorcycle training courses are strongly recommended and may waive the skills test. In Pennsylvania, what does a keep right sign on a divided highway require? Option A. Turn right at the next intersection. Option B. Yield to vehicles merging from the right. Option C. All vehicles must use the right lane. Left lane is closed. Option D. Keep to the right of a traffic island, median, or other obstruction ahead. The correct answer is D. Keep to the right of a traffic island, median, or other obstruction ahead. A keep right sign in Pennsylvania directs drivers to pass to the right side of an island, median, or other obstruction. On multi-lane highways, it also reinforces that slower traffic should stay right and passing is done on the left. Disobeying a keep right sign is a moving violation and can create dangerous head-on or sideswipe conflicts. In Pennsylvania, what is overdriving your headlights and why is it dangerous? Option A. Driving at a speed where stopping distance exceeds the distance illuminated by headlights. If a hazard appears at the edge of visibility, there is not enough room to stop. Option B. Using high beams in fog which reflects light back and reduces visibility. Option C. Leaving high beams on in oncoming traffic. Option D. Driving with headlights aimed too high, blinding other drivers. The correct answer is A. Driving at a speed where stopping distance exceeds the distance illuminated by headlights. If a hazard appears at the edge of visibility, there is not enough room to stop. Overdriving headlights in Pennsylvania means traveling fast enough that your stopping distance exceeds the range your headlights illuminate. If a hazard appears at the edge of your headlight range, you cannot stop in time. At 60 miles per hour, stopping distance significantly exceeds low beam range. Reduce speed at night or in reduced visibility conditions to ensure you can stop within sight distance. In Pennsylvania, what is the Pennsylvania Turnpike and what are its key rules? Option A. A free expressway connecting Pittsburgh and Philadelphia with no speed limit. Option B. A state highway with no commercial vehicle access. Option C. A toll road, I-76 and I-276, where drivers must maintain minimum 45 miles per hour, no stopping except at service plazas or emergencies, and trucks are restricted from certain lanes. Option D. A toll road exclusively for commercial vehicles. Passenger cars use alternate routes. The correct answer is C. A toll road, I-76 and I-276, where drivers must maintain minimum 45 miles per hour, no stopping except at service plazas or emergencies, and trucks are restricted from certain lanes. The Pennsylvania Turnpike, I-76/I-276, is a major toll road running east-west across the state. Key rules. Speeds are posted, typically 65 miles per hour. Stopping is prohibited except at service plazas or for emergencies. Electronic tolling, Easy Pass, is available and commercial vehicles must follow lane restrictions. The Turnpike Commission enforces strict safety rules given heavy truck traffic. Outstanding! You completed all 50 Pennsylvania DMV Practice Test 2026 VOL3 questions. Subscribe to the USA Driving Test for free practice tests for all 50 states. Good luck on your exam.